Welcome back to the Longevity Show. I'm Dr. Hillary Lynn, a Stanford-trained longevity physician with background in neuroscience, oncology, and primary care. Today, we're going to be discussing how we are optimizing our skin health as part of our longevity journey. And in following our theme, we're going to be talking about slowing and even reversing the aging process. Today, we're going to be focusing on a crucial piece of the puzzle, skin elasticity. Skin elasticity is what keeps your skin firm, smooth, and able to bounce back. It plays a key role in preventing your wrinkles, developing and maintaining an even skin appearance. Over time, we all lose that natural resilience, and this leads to the visible signs of aging like fine lines, sagging, and wrinkles. But even beyond the surface, skin elasticity is a great indicator of our underlying health. Some people have skin that's more genetically prone to an appearance of aging, so I want to put that out there. However, often for many of us, skin elasticity is a signal for our underlying health and reflects our hydration, our nutrition, and even our hormonal balance. The truth is, it is very genetically defined, and a lot of it has to do with our environment, but there is something you can do about it. In this episode, I'll be sharing the science behind skin elasticity, what is actually effective in maintaining it, and practical changes you can make to keep your skin looking youthful and vibrant. So let's dive into the basics of skin elasticity, what it is, and why it matters. Simply put, skin elasticity is the skin's ability to stretch and then return to its original shape. So this ability comes from special fibers in the skin called elastin, appropriately, because it's kind of elastic. And that works hand in hand with collagen to keep the skin firm, resilient, and young looking. So to use some analogies, elastin is like a spring. It provides that bounce that allows your skin to move and snap back. You want to be able to flex. Like, it's important for us to be able to move, of course. That's why we've got necessary so-called wrinkles in our flexion points, in our joints, in our neck. That's why we get those wrinkles and lines in areas that we're moving a lot. And we also have collagen, which on the other hand is like scaffolding or a framework that gives your skin the structure and the strength. So elastin and collagen together work to maintain that smooth firmness of your skin. Your skin should be able to bounce back, and a lot of the damage that comes with it is very natural. It comes from the wear and tear of using our skin appropriately, but it does get accelerated with harmful exposures, such as from UV rays, which we'll get into. So as we age, these proteins, the collagen and the elastin, start to degrade quite naturally. So intrinsic factors like our genetics and the aging process itself leads to that gradual decline in elastin and collagen production. So that's why we start noticing signs of aging, like wrinkles and sagging, because the skin's underlying structure is losing its ability to hold everything in place. So you can imagine, like, it's fighting off all the damage all the time as you're going through life. Our skin is protection against the environment, if you think about it. So it's doing a huge job for us. And as part of that, it's exposed to all of the damage that we put our bodies through, and it has to fight it off. So naturally, there's going to be some degradation the more damage or challenge or stress that we expose our skin to. And that brings us to the external, or what we call extrinsic factors. So sun exposure, UV radiation, is a major culprit. So that's why dermatologists talk about protecting your skin from the sun all the time. It breaks down our collagen and elastin and speeds up the aging process. We also get negative exposures through smoking, poor nutrition, and exposure to pollutants. These all weaken these fibers over time and cause the skin to lose its elasticity faster. If you imagine your skin's elastin is that fresh rubber band in youth, over time it gets exposed. Maybe it's like soaked in acid or something like that. It's essentially what's happening when we're exposed to things like sun, cigarette smoke. It becomes more brittle, less flexible, and then we start to see crinkling of our skin, sagging, and wrinkles. So maintaining skin elasticity is much more than about applying just the right skincare products. And it's much more than skin deep. It's about going into the internal aspects of our cells, our bodies, protecting these fibers and more from damage and supporting them with healthy lifestyle choices and more advanced interventions. When we talk about how our skin loses elasticity over time, or how it ages essentially to create those wrinkles, there are four main factors: natural aging processes. Two is the degeneration of those elastic fibers we discussed. 3 is inflammation, and 4 is the increased activities of these enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases, otherwise known as MMPs. First, of course, aging is a major driver, and that's why we all see these characteristic changes as people get older. So as we get older, the structure of our skin changes because the collagen and elastin fibers within the dermal, that's the most superficial aspect of your skin, start to fragment and become disorganized. So if you imagine, it's like this beautifully woven tapestry that over time with exposure to the elements begins to fray. And this breakdown weakens the skin's framework and makes it less elastic and more prone to sagging and wrinkles. So increased MMP activity also contributes to this because these target the collagen fibers and further weaken the structure of the skin. To dive a little bit deeper into degeneration of those elastic fibers, these fibers lose their original properties over time. They become thicker, more curved, more fragmented, and it makes it harder for them to fit well together and work together well so that the skin can snap back. That's what leads to that sagging appearance. That's similar again to the rubber band analogy because if you've ever left rubber bands out or tried to keep them for a long period of time, they eventually become stiff and they lose their flexibility and they become much more prone to breakage with some simple stretching. Also, we get accumulation of something called advanced glycation end products, AGEs, which is so appropriate. I feel like it's just one of those magical acronyms because, of course, AGEs or ages is the a bad product that accumulates over time, and these occur when proteins and lipids are glycated by sugar. So long story short, as we're exposed to different challenges to our skin, you get the accumulation of these combo products where sugar adds to proteins and lipids in a way that makes fibers more brittle and less elastic. As a somewhat okay analogy, I fully admit, it's kind of like when you have a sponge and you're using a lot, but then it gets coated, for example, with syrup, and that what was once soft and springy becomes more hardened and rigid, and it's not effective anymore at being that springy sponge. So excuse my terrible analogy, but that kind of gives you an idea of what these AGEs are doing to our skin fibers. Of course, inflammation plays a huge role. I've talked a lot about inflammation before. That is inflammation associated with aging, and you get elevation of inflammatory markers like IL-6 and TNF-alpha. So low-grade chronic inflammation is partially changed by changes with the immune system, accumulation of damaged cells, and increased oxidative stress. So it's something we've explored endlessly in our other episodes, so I won't dive too deeply into that topic today, but just know that inflammation is indeed a really big part of why our skin also ages. And these inflammatory molecules stimulate MMP activity. And I'm going to be talking about the MMPs a little bit more because I've repeated it a couple times, but essentially that leads to more and more collagen and elastin breakdown. So chronic inflammation also, as we've discussed, causes a lot of oxidative stress, which is like that rusting to our cells, and that weakens the skin's structure. Much like if you have a rusty machine, it's going to break down a bit more, function a little bit less well, and certainly contributes to its aging appearance. All right, let's talk a little bit more about those MMPs, those matrix metalloproteinases. So these are enzymes that are naturally present in our skin. So they're there because they're supposed to help with tissue remodeling and healing. So if you're injured, you have a cut or something like that, these MMPs are vital because they need to come together and fix the tissue, the skin around it to heal well. However, when they're challenged inappropriately by excess pollution, UV exposure, oxidative stress, inflammation, then their activity ramps up to an unhealthy level. So this recalls the discussion we've had in the past about hormesis, where the dose is the poison. When you have a little bit of challenge, you're moving around your skin a little bit here and there, then your skin's going to get stronger. However, if you have too high of a dose of a challenge or stressor, then things go haywire, and then we have maladaptive changes to our body, such as the activation or overactivation of these MMPs. MMP1, MMP2, and MMP9 are particularly well known for breaking down collagen and elastin. So It's a little bit like if you have a construction site, the workers are supposed to be maintaining the building, but instead they have too much energy and they're being told, okay, you have to be doing something to fill your time. So they instead start tearing it down to create more work. And that's essentially what's going on with this overactivation or over increased MMP activity to the point of disrepair. The worsening of skin elasticity is driven by a combo of the aging, the degeneration of skin elastic fibers, the inflammation, and the increased MMP activity. So it's quite complex, but I wanted to lay this out first as a foundation because it helps us understand why keeping our skin healthy is about way more than just creams. It's about protecting the deeper structures and minimizing the factors that accelerate damage. So now we bring ourselves to the section that everybody has been waiting for. What can we actually do to reverse skin aging or improve skin elasticity? So lifestyle first. There's so much you can do without showing up at the dermatologist's office. So I want to go through that first. I deeply believe that skin is, sometimes the trigger for why we seek anti-aging interventions. When we look in the mirror, it's hard to ignore that we see signs of aging, but the solution is so much more than skin deep. It really starts from a whole body approach. You want to tackle it with all the same ways we've talked about on the longevity show before. Let's talk about some of the most practical and impactful steps you can take every day. So when it comes to improving your skin elasticity or the bouncy resilience of your skin, what you eat can make all the difference. So the right foods provide your skin with the essential building blocks. It needs to stay firm, hydrated, and resilient. As a quick review, collagen are these peptides that keep our skin structure really strong. And it's not quite as simple as, oh, our collagen is broken, so we eat collagen and it replaces the collagen in our skin. It's not that simple. Actually, it's more that collagen peptides, they are specifically formulated when we take the ones that are specifically for our skin and hair to be the exact ingredients that can lead to improved skin elasticity. So our body, when we eat something, always breaks it down, digests it to its building blocks. So you're almost never, I can't right now think of any sort of instance where you're eating something and it just undigested wise ends up in our body in some way, shape, or form. So that doesn't actually really happen unless it's like a medication that you're taking specifically to impact a certain mechanism in your body. So as with all foods and supplements, typically what's actually happening is that you're taking something, it's getting broken down into its tiny little molecules, and those molecules are doing something to our body to help it improve health, hopefully. So collagen, similarly, is getting broken down. It's peptides, which are these small versions of proteins. You can think about them that way. They actually can go in and then intervene with our skin health and improve our skin's elasticity. So some studies do show that having 2.5 to 10 grams of hydrolyzed collagen peptides daily for at least 3 months can improve the hydration, elasticity, and appearance, and even reduce wrinkles. They kickstart the production of new collagen. So again, it's not directly going into our skin for, that's overly simple. Our bodies are a bit more complicated. It likes breaking things down and creating new versions. So collagen peptides, when you eat them, they get broken down and then they kickstart the production of new collagen, and that helps maintain our skin's strength and flexibility. We're going to be talking a lot about antioxidants, and I've mentioned before that I do prefer telling folks to get your antioxidants through your food rather than from vitamins in pill form, because you can overdo it, especially for the fat soluble vitamins. So polyphenols, flavonoids, vitamins like vitamin C and E can be found in a lot of fruits and vegetables and beverages like green tea. And these all contribute to maintaining your skin elasticity by reducing the inflammation and neutralizing free radicals. I love berries, so try and add berries. You can also get citrus fruits. They're a little bit higher in sugar, so just watch out how much you're taking. Spinach, deep leafy greens, amazing for you and your skin. And also nuts. I love nuts so much. Lots of fiber, lots of positive, healthy types of fats as well. Speaking of healthy fats, we've also talked a lot about omega-3s in the past, and certainly these are helpful as well for our skin. So Healthy fats like omega-3s are found in fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, flax seeds, although you have to have a lot, and chia seeds and walnuts. So omega-3s are really helpful because they decrease inflammation as well as keeping the skin hydrated, and all of this supports elasticity. There's a lot of talk out there right now about seed oils and omega-6 fatty acids. And there's a lot of controversy basically right now because, yes, I understand the mechanisms of pro-inflammatory functions of omega-6s, but a lot of the studies are still a little bit mixed as to results. And it turns out that linoleic acid, actually, which is a omega-6 fatty acid, is associated in some studies with better skin hydration and reduced skin thinning. So that actually helps maintain a youthful appearance. So let's also discuss carotenoids, which is a category that you might have heard about as well. So beta carotene and astaxanthin are carotenoids that are found in colorful fruits and vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, and red peppers. And these have been shown to protect the skin from UV damage and also enhance collagen production. So they help your skin elasticity, but you also get this natural glow to the skin. There's also emerging evidence that probiotics can be really helpful for skin appearance and skin health. So you can find probiotics, of course, in fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut. And also prebiotics, which lead to probiotics, super helpful. So prebiotics are largely fibrous foods. So again, going back to fruits and veggies are so helpful. And you can start to see why a lot of folks who are very plant-based tend to be youthful looking, because there's so many benefits to the skin and probably for the rest of our health. There's a lot of debate right now. So that's a different episode for a different time, but it's a really interesting topic that I will definitely be diving into in future episodes. Hydration is key for keeping your skin young, elastic, and bouncy. So water keeps skin cells plump and helps transport nutrients and flush out toxins. Our body runs on water. Our body has so much water in it. It needs water. Helps everything from our brain health to our skin health. Studies do show that increasing your water intake can noticeably improve your skin hydration and elasticity, especially if you're somebody who is regularly dehydrated. And I totally understand that. I'm just working all day long and sometimes I forget to drink water, especially when I was on the wards, like in the hospital. I would just run around all day long and have like 3 cups of water or something really, really pitiful like that. And that's really bad for your overall health, but you see it in your skin. So again, I like using the skin as a signal, even though obviously it's not everything when it comes to health and longevity. It's an easy signal as to what's going on sometimes for people underneath the skin. Well-hydrated skin actually is also better at resisting environmental stressors, and that's another way that it helps you keep that youthful appearance. You can also apply hydrating ingredients topically, so that is something I want to briefly touch on here. Moisturizers containing humectants like glycerol, hyaluronic acid, are incredibly important. So glycerol attracts water from the environment or deeper layers of the skin, and hyaluronic acid is a substance that's naturally found in the body that can hold vast amounts of water and makes it excellent for hydration. So these both draw water into the skin and lock in moisture. So you can think of it as a sponge. Hyaluronic acid can actually hold up to 1,000 times its weight in water, which helps keep the skin plump, firm, and resilient. Exercise. So yes, indeed, it turns out that regular exercise, especially resistance training, is a game changer for your skin's elasticity. So you've got to give your skin a workout, just like any other cell in your body, your muscles, your brain. With that little healthy amount of challenge to the body, you get improvement of the skin's elasticity and youthfulness. So there's actually studies about this. Resistance training increases the blood circulation and delivers oxygen and nutrients straight to your skin, which helps boost the thermal thickness. So again, that's the outer layer of the skin, and stimulates collagen and elastin production. And these proteins help keep your skin firm and bouncy in a youthful way. And these studies also show that resistance training reduces inflammation and supports the overall structure of your skin. Aerobic exercises are also incredibly helpful. So that's like jogging, running, swimming, cycling, and that keeps your blood flowing again, reduces the oxidative stress, gives your skin that healthy glow. So, regardless if you are a lifter or a runner, regular exercise is actually one of the best things you can do for your skin. And stay hydrated the entire time, of course. And perhaps this is obvious, but it is worth stating in with great emphasis that protecting your skin from UV radiation is absolutely essential if you want to maintain its youthful elasticity. UV exposure is one of the main culprits behind the breakdown of collagen and elastin, and that leads to premature aging, wrinkles, and sagging. And you've maybe even seen those photos of drivers, like truck drivers, who, they drive for a living and one side of their face is exposed to the sun far more than the other. And you can actually see the difference from one to the other side. So it's fascinating, but we do know that it's one of the biggest challenges, stressors to the skin, and it can lead to that aging. A randomized controlled study, for example, did demonstrate that regular use of a broad spectrum sunscreen significantly slowed down skin aging. Over 4.5 years, the participants in the study who used sunscreen daily had a 24% less skin aging compared to those who used it less regularly. This really underscores the importance of consistent sunscreen application in maintaining the youthful skin appearance. And actually, I find that this is true for myself. There's a lot of debate out there about, whether you should not use sunscreen sometimes to, get some healthy exposure to the sun. And I think the jury's out, but it's pretty clear that any amount of sun causes a great deal of photo aging. So if you're concerned about skin aging, proper sun protection is key. And I also want to emphasize that, like many others in this field, I believe that using mineral sunblocks is typically safer and then using the more chemical sunblocks. And the reason simply is yes, there's a lot of mixed data about whether chemical sunblocks can actually lead to harms in our body. But I do think that if you have a high quality mineral sunblock, it sits on top of the skin a bit more and it's less harmful to anything underneath because it's simply not getting absorbed. So you just skip the potential disadvantages of the chemical sunblocks entirely, even if we don't know all the details about every single ingredient in chemical sunblocks. Not to mention, from my own past experience, I used to use whatever sunblock every single day. I knew that sunblock was important, but I used to care a lot less about whether it was chemical or not. But I experienced too, like you can get some reactions from some of the chemicals, and everybody's going to be different. For me, I found that it was causing trouble with my eye sensitivities. So work with different brands. I'm not a big proponent of any particular brand, but I do know that there are some. Typically, unfortunately, they're a bit more expensive. Sunblock brands they're mineral, but they don't cause that white cast, and they seem to blend in quite well. And you can even use one that's a little bit tinted, and that can lend to a slight color to your skin if that's something you're looking for, a slight smoothing as well. That can be really helpful. Lots of studies showing this. I also want to go into details about the spectrum, because a lot of people, they ask me questions about like, what does it mean to be broad spectrum in, sunscreen ads? So the entire solar spectrum is potentially harmful to your skin. So we are talking about UVB, UVA, visible light, and even short infrared. All these wavelengths can potentially exacerbate skin aging. And UVB rays primarily cause the sunburn and can damage the skin's superficial layers, and that leads to DNA damage and contribute to risk of skin cancer. UVA rays penetrate a little bit more deeply. The longer a wavelength, the more it can penetrate the skin and muscle and other tissue. So UVA rays are a little bit longer and they penetrate a little bit deeper. And that can directly break down collagen and elastin and are a major factor in premature skin aging and wrinkle formation. Then we get even longer to visible light. So this is the kind of light we can see, and it goes all the way from the blue to the red. So blue being the shortest wavelength in the visible light spectrum and red being the longest. And so beyond the red, we also have infrared. And when we talk about short infrared, that means the shortest wavelength of the infrared, but still longer than red. So anyways, visible light and short infrared radiation do also contribute to oxidative stress and inflammation, although, there's no way you're going to be avoiding all of this. But I'm just mentioning it because, even if you're somebody who completely avoids the sun forever and you're like, oh, I never get any damage, That approach is unsustainable. There's light everywhere. It's more about being healthy rather than protecting yourself from every single potential stress in the world. Early lesson I learned early on, and if the sooner you kind of come to terms with that, the more you realize that, we do all need to eat well, exercise well, and it's not just about avoiding every single possible harm to our skin or our body. So I also wanted to mention, because this can be confusing to people, that, I've talked about red light therapy before on prior episodes being really helpful for skin repair. But it turns out that certain other types of visible light have a different effect. So red light therapy helps with skin repair and stimulates collagen production, reducing inflammation and promoting healing. And we discuss this in great detail. It's about the dose, it's about the power, it's about how you're using it. Any amount of energy or light is potentially damaging to the skin, the body, if you have too much of it all at once. This again goes back to that topic that we've talked about before, hormesis, which is the dose is the poison. And, a lighter dose or for a certain amount of time is healthy for you and can promote positive adaptations and changes. But everything to the body that is too high potency or too much all at once, essentially, can potentially cause damage. So there's a balance to everything that you want to give to your body. Going back to the sunscreens, basically, that is why you want broad spectrum sunscreens that help you protect against all these types of light radiation and help you maintain the skin's elasticity and prevent damage from the sun's full spectrum. I also want to mention that even though I love sunscreen and sunblock, and it's absolutely something that I find it's just easy to put on every single day so I don't forget. It's a really big part of my daily routine. You have to remember that clothing as well and seeking shade and avoiding some peak sun hours are actually probably the most effective ways to protect yourself from UV ray damage. So, for example, peak sun hours typically are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a lot of places during sunny seasons. It's a lot shorter now here in New York, so I think most of us don't have to worry as much in the Northeast at the moment, but essentially avoiding really powerful sun exposure is important. And also being knowledgeable about your skin type. For example, different ethnicities and genetics lead to different levels of potential skin damage to the same exact dose of sun. For example, my partner has very pale Caucasian white skin and can barely get any sort of sun exposure before damage starts to occur. Whereas I myself, I am a fairer shade, but Asian ethnicity, and I have been sunburnt maybe like one time in my life, even on days that I'm not wearing a lot of sunblock. So we have different levels of natural protection against the sun in terms of damage, but every single person could benefit from protecting our sun against UV rays so that we can prevent cancers, most importantly, but also it can also help with skin appearance so that it's elastic and youthful. So by incorporating these lifestyle habits and focusing on a nutrient-rich diet, staying well hydrated and engaging in regular physical exercise and protecting your skin from the sun, this all forms the foundation for maintaining your skin elasticity and health. Advanced treatments and topical products can make a huge difference, but I find that without these foundational healthy habits from the inside out, you're not going to get a lot of benefit from the rest of this. But let's start talking about the more advanced or the supplemental interventions you can add to your proper lifestyle regime for healthy, youthful skin. Let's face it, sometimes it's hard to get all the nutrients you need from food alone, and that's where supplements come in. So let's dive into some of the most effective supplements that have been shown to support skin elasticity and fight aging so that you can take your skin health to the next level. So we already talked about collagen peptides in some detail. As a quick review, again, collagen is that protein or that peptide that gives your skin structure, keeps your skin resilient and bouncy. We do have less and less natural collagen production as we age. So taking hydrolyzed collagen peptides can significantly help because, you're taking in all the ingredients, you're breaking them down, and it's prompting the production of new collagen in our skin. You need to take in more of the building blocks. For example, imagine, your skin is like this wall, this barrier against the outside, and it's under renovation, and you need the building blocks or the bricks to help create that strong, resilient skin. And that can help strengthen the framework and restore the wall's stability. Again, studies have shown taking around that 2.5 to 10 grams of collagen peptides daily for at least 3 months can lead to noticeable effects. We've talked about the mechanism a little bit, but just to dive deeper, because I think it's really helpful to really nail this in and understand it. So the first part of how collagen improves our skin elasticity is the stimulation of collagen synthesis. So like we mentioned, when you eat collagen peptides, they get broken down into bioactive dipeptides. So these are like prolyl hydroxyproline and hydroxypropylglycine. So these dipeptides are absorbed into the bloodstream and reach the dermis. They stimulate fibroblasts to increase the production of collagen, elastin, and other extracellular matrix components. So essentially, dipeptides are 2 peptides each, and they go into the bloodstream, they reach your skin levels, and then they prompt these growth factors to produce more healthy things for your skin, like the collagen and the elastin and other things that are holding together that wall, that skin. And it has been shown in studies that we get increased expression of collagen type 1 and elastin genes in the human dermal fibroblasts treated with collagen peptides. So remember, yes, our genes to some extent lay out our destiny, but when we do certain things like take certain supplements, eat certain foods, or when we exercise, we can affect how our genetics are expressed. And this is yet another explanation of how. We've talked about those matrix metalloproteinases, so those MMPs. And the second way collagen peptides have been shown to be helpful for skin elasticity is that they inhibit the activities of MMPs. So remember, these are enzymes that degrade the collagen and the skin proteins that help hold it up and keep it looking plump. So these collagen peptides preserve, therefore, the structural integrity of that extracellular matrix and keep your skin looking elastic. A third mechanism that collagen peptides help is by enhancing that structure of that wall, that ECM. And it forms a more stable and organized ECM through increased synthesis of those proteins that we discussed before. Collagen supplementation leads to improved collagen fiber organization and that improved resilience elasticity. And we talked about, too, the promotion of the fibroblast activity. So dermal fibroblasts, so the skin fibroblasts, are the cells most responsible for producing collagen and other ECM components. And so more activity results in greater collagen deposition and improved skin elasticity. Long story short, collagen peptides, they get broken down. They signal certain parts of our bodies, certain cells, to keep your skin looking plump and youthful. So I've talked about this before, and perhaps it's not that obvious for listeners out there, but you might be wondering, is collagen any more beneficial than protein? Like, I keep talking about collagen as a peptide, and peptides are just small portions of protein. So why not just take regular protein supplements? The short answer is you can take a regular protein supplement or just eat protein the regular way that you would through your food. The difference is that collagen supplements specifically meant to help with skin health contain very specific bioactive peptides like the ProHip that I mentioned or the HipGlide, which directly target skin health. So these peptides are like specialized tools or specialized workers that help rebuild the structure of your skin. So general protein supplements have lots of amino acids or little building blocks for overall health, and they're so fantastic. I definitely think that you need to get enough protein for overall health and longevity. But if you're just specifically trying to tackle one thing like your skin health, then you can use specialized supplements like collagen. It's a debate that, you could talk about with your physician or think about it on your own, what you prefer, whether you like the more specific collagen peptides or if you want to go ahead and eat the whole proteins. I think there's benefits to both. And then one thing I will mention is some people, if you eat a ton of protein, it can be hard to digest. Sometimes people consider that a benefit because when you're eating a protein-forward diet, then you feel fuller because it takes a little while for your body to break that down. But it can be hard to consume a ton of protein if you're like me and you digest a little bit slowly. So it can be helpful to get those peptides, including collagen peptides, if you want to direct it in a certain mechanism of interest, such as for your skin health, because you'll break that down faster. It's already pre-broken down, essentially, and your body can break that down a little bit faster. It's easier to digest. So that's one potential benefit. But again, I think overall, if you're getting plenty of protein, then that should cover your basis. I know when you talk to hairstylists, for example, they see tons of hair, and yes, some people will be like, go ahead, take the collagen, but a lot of them will just say, if you want gray hair, you just need more protein. I think at the end of the day, whether it's protein or peptides like collagen peptides, either way, protein building blocks, the amino acids, those are incredibly important for our overall health. Let's talk about vitamins. And again, I want to say upfront that I think it's important to get your vitamins through your food rather than taking them as this multi-supplement or multivitamin, because multivitamins can kind of overdo it in terms of dosing. I get so scared when I look at multivitamins and it's like 1000% of what you need in a day, because you can actually be poisoned by too many vitamins. On the other hand, we also don't know exactly how much is in it, and whether it's really getting absorbed and whether it's all a waste of money. So I think at the end of the day, try and get it through your food, but for the sake of completion, and I want to go through exactly why each of these components, even if you get it from food, is good for your skin health. Let's talk about vitamin A. Vitamin A is so important for skin health. So this is like team captain of the vitamin sports team, because it ensures everything runs smoothly. It promotes cell turnover and repair. So that's like why tretinoin or retinol creams, these are derivatives of vitamin A, and they're used in skin products to reduce wrinkles and improve texture they speed up the skin turnover actually. And then that in turns also boosts the collagen production. So tretinoin, like I mentioned, or even the more invasive version of vitamin A or retinoid product is isotretinoin, Accutane. And Accutane is used for really severe acne. Accutane, the oral retinoid, can be used also to reduce oil production and inflammation. So essentially, vitamin A is very well studied. It's one of the most important parts of an anti-aging or rejuvenation routine for your skin. But you do want to be careful. It's possible to overdo it. There's a reason why anybody who's taken Accutane in the past, you have to get your blood levels checked. They're super careful about making sure you don't become pregnant if you are female, because it's very teratogenic, so it's harmful to developing fetuses. It can also cause problems with liver inflammation. It could make your triglycerides all out of whack. So you want to be careful with the oral versions of anything vitamin A derived, because it can become a toxin. So, but on the other hand, with skin topical retinoids like tretinoin, you only need a tiny amount, because anybody who has tried doing a lot at once, you've probably experienced a retinoid burn, and that can happen. So you want to be careful, especially on delicate areas. This is why we recommend avoiding your delicate skin around your eyes when you're using tretinoin, similar products. It's very good for turning over skin and smoothing out the appearance of your skin, but it can be overly powerful for the more delicate parts of your skin. If you haven't tried it before, talk to your doctor. It is prescription only, the tretinoin. There's over-the-counter versions, but they're different forms and a little bit less potent in its efficacy. So the prescription level that you can get, you only need a tiny amount. It's like a pea-sized amount for basically your whole face. So you don't want to overdo it. It can lead to retinal burns, and you don't want that. It makes your skin a bit more sensitive because it's producing that skin turnover. So you want to make sure in the morning that, you're moisturizing well, of course, actually at nighttime as well. So wash your face with a gentle cleanser, then tretinoin, then you add on your nice moisturizer, clean moisturizer. And then in the next morning, you're going to just gently wash your face and put on moisturizer, put on your sunblock. You want to protect your skin if you're using tretinoin, because it makes your skin a lot more sensitive to UV rays and sun. So paradoxically, you could have worse outcomes if you're not protecting your skin as you're using retinol products. All right, let's talk about vitamin C. So vitamin C protects your skin from environmental damage. It's a powerful antioxidant that has a vital role in collagen synthesis, keeping your skin elastic. So it's that glue that holds your skin together essentially and strengthens your skin against external stressors. In skincare, we typically see vitamin C in serums and creams to help brighten the skin, reduce hyperpigmentation, and boost your collagen production. So I used to be like super poo-poo about vitamin C, because I was like, how is it a thing. Like in my mind, I was like, there's no possible way that it's doing anything other than perhaps the ascorbic acid lightening certain discolorations of the skin. But it does turn out that it does get absorbed to a deep enough level that it's actually doing something underneath the pure surface. It can penetrate the skin and protect your skin via its antioxidant methods, and it improves your skin tone as well and reduces signs of aging. So you can get vitamin C by itself as a serum or almost like this oil. So I know I myself, I prefer this vial because vitamin C actually can degrade very quickly. So once you open a container with vitamin C, the vitamin C that's exposed to the air gets degraded almost immediately. So you want to be careful. A lot of the products out there, they're going to come with covers or caps, and the vials are great because you just open just enough for a day or two, and then you throw it out or you open a new one by the time that the old vitamin C has degraded. It becomes a little bit expensive and kind of arduous, but if you are using vitamin C products, know that if it's in this giant vat of moisturizer, it's getting degraded immediately. It's probably not there anymore, so you're not getting the benefits of the vitamin C. All right, vitamin D is so helpful in a lot of different areas of health and longevity, and it does help because of its usual mechanisms, which is in guiding repair and growth. So it supports cell growth, reduces inflammation, and helps your skin maintain that important barrier function. So it's almost like a defense for your skin. It also helps manage more serious skin conditions like psoriasis and eczema. You can, like I've mentioned before, take vitamin D as an oral supplement. Back in the day, people used to get so confused about whether you should take vitamin D2 or D3. Luckily, I think the supplement companies have gotten their act together, and now they typically only offer the D3, which is the preferred version because it's more effective at raising your overall vitamin D levels. It's available in so many different formats, so capsules, tablets, even drops. And a lot of people take them for other reasons, which we've discussed on the longevity show, but certainly for your skin health, it's also really helpful. Vitamin E is another fat soluble vitamin, and it works alongside vitamin C. And it's adding another layer of support and protection. So it helps keep that skin barrier strong and improves hydration, making it more resilient to stressors like skin exposure. It can be also taken as a supplement, but like with a lot of fat-soluble drugs, and unlike vitamin D, I know that vitamin D is as well, but the doses are really small that are given. Vitamin E tends to be a little bit larger in terms of its capsules, and I just want to urge caution because if you overdo vitamin E, you can have adverse effects like increased risk of bleeding. So just something to be aware of. It's not quite as dangerous as, toxic levels of vitamin A, but just something to note. All these different vitamins have different risks, and not all of them are quite as safe as, taking a B12 vitamin or even vitamin D. So just be aware. You can also get it from natural sources like wheat germs, sunflower seeds, or almonds. And then we have vitamin B3. So that's niacinamide. Niacinamide is really versatile for the skin. It reduces your redness, it enhances your skin barrier function, and it improves elasticity and improves the appearance of skin evenness due to hyperpigmentation. So this is all-rounder vitamin. It can be taken orally as a supplement, or it's applied topically in creams and serums as well. And then just as always, excessive intake can lead to issues, so just be careful. It can lead to skin flushing or an upset stomach. So just follow recommended doses. Don't overdo it. Again, yes, you can take these all as supplements, but getting them from foods like leafy greens for vitamin A, citrus fruits for vitamin C, some fortified dairy for vitamin D, or getting some healthy amounts of moderate sun exposure for vitamin D, eating nuts for vitamin E, and whole grains for vitamin B3 is probably a lot safer and healthier because then you have this well-rounded, balanced diet as well. Let's talk about omega-3 fatty acid supplements. So like we mentioned earlier, it's so important for all aspects of our health and longevity, but it's also really helpful for our skin. And I just wanted to quickly go through the mechanisms why. So Omega-3s do help mitigate skin damage from the UV radiation, especially that UVB radiation. And it also can improve skin thickness and improve elasticity. It's like adding an extra cushion to our skin. And studies have shown that participants who take these omega supplements can also have improvements in skin elasticity and fewer wrinkles after, a 12-week period, which is actually a pretty short amount of time. And then finally, of course, it can help with hydration, which is incredible for the skin, and also with reducing inflammation, which, as we've mentioned, it's one of those biggest things that lead to aging of multiple types of cells in our body, including our skin. So get your fatty fish, get your seaweed, get your chia seeds in your foods, in your smoothies, or sprinkle your flax seeds on your cereal. All of these are incredible for making a difference for your skin health. I talked about carotenoids as well. I recommend you get it through your fruits and vegetables because extra supplementation can be a little bit tricky to balance correctly. We've seen that it can lead to problems for smokers, and high doses of beta carotene, which is one of the carotenoids, has been associated with an increased risk of lung cancer in smokers, and too much can actually cause carotenemia. It's harmless, but it's funny because it leads to this discoloration of the skin. It's almost this yellow carrot-like discoloration. So moderation is very key. It's, in my opinion, best to obtain your carotenoids through a balanced diet rich in colorful fruits and vegetables. Also, another big supplement that we talk a lot about and we discussed a little bit earlier is hyaluronic acid. So again, it can hold 1,000 times its weight in water. And actually, this is interesting to some listeners, perhaps. It's not only something that you place topically on your skin, but you can also take it as an oral supplement. And a 12-week study did show that taking 120 milligrams of oral hyaluronic acid significantly improves skin elasticity, hydration, and reduce wrinkles. So, but of course, you see it a lot in creams, and that can enhance your hydration, stimulate collagen and elastin production, and improve elasticity. It's this moisture magnet, this sponge that helps you rebuild your skin's foundation. And injections of hyaluronic acid have also been shown to improve skin quality without adding too much significant volume. And that provides long-term lasting benefits for up to a year. So let's talk a little bit more about probiotics, which we mentioned earlier. So when you balance your gut microbiota with probiotics, you can reduce inflammation, reduce oxidative stress, and strengthen your skin's barrier. This is especially important for people dealing with acne, psoriasis, and eczema. So you want the healthy bacteria to help keep the bad guys out, reduce inflammation, and improve your skin's overall health. So studies do show that both oral and topical probiotics, which is really interesting to me because there's certain companies that promote this, but it's not actually super common to have topical probiotics, but it can be really helpful for various skin conditions, especially like if you're dealing with acne. That a lot of times that's just unhealthy bacteria overgrowing, like with a lot of other conditions that people deal with. So having probiotics or healthy bacteria help fight that off, that can be extremely helpful and not that damaging because you're not adding a harmful chemical or overdoing it with a particular supplement. As a quick summary, a balanced diet is absolutely the cornerstone for healthy skin, but you can supplement with collagen peptides, certain vitamins, omega-3s, carotenoids, hyaluronic acid, and probiotics. These are all backed by scientific evidence and can really help improve your skin elasticity and fight aging. I personally recommend that people go ahead if you want to take the collagen peptides or whole proteins. That's incredibly helpful for your skin, for your health in general. Absolutely recommend the omega-3 fatty acids. And taking probiotics, we have some data, but I find it's hard to recommend specific doses, specific strains, because simply put, we just don't have a lot of evidence for specific interventions. But generally speaking, probiotics, especially prebiotics leading to probiotics, can be really helpful for a lot of aspects of health and longevity. And hyaluronic acid, at the very least, using the topical formats can be really helpful. The other stuff like the carotenoids and the vitamins A, C, D, E, and B3, try to get through your foods. D, fairly safe to get in through supplementation. And because we don't get a lot of sun, because we're trying to protect our sun from UV damage, it can be helpful to get that through oral supplementation as well. And there doesn't seem to be as much towards, overdoing it. But as with anything, don't overdo your vitamin D supplementation. I've definitely seen problems with that. People with super therapeutic levels, even a person showing up in the cardiac ICU because they had electrolyte abnormalities leading to heart block due to oversupplementation of things like vitamin D. Everything with proper moderation, try to get things through food. And that leads us to a quick summary of everything we talked about today. So let's pull everything together into an easy to follow routine that you can consider. Everybody's going to be different, so I don't want to pretend that this is a routine for every single person, but because I get asked this a lot, for your daily skincare routine, consider starting the day with lightly cleansing your skin with either just water alone or using a very, very gentle cleanser. And then after you've dried it off, you can use a vitamin C serum to help with protecting against oxidative stress and boosting your collagen. And afterwards, layer on that moisturizer. I prefer just simple, clean moisturizers, honestly. Like I think a lot of people get worked up about specific moisturizer ingredients, but at the end of the day, something as simple as like a Cetaphil. I even use Cetaphil for the body on my face because it's nice and thick. It provides that extra moisture. And add on your sunblock, of course. On top of that, try to stick to mineral sunblocks when possible. And there are sunblocks that are not as sticky feeling and don't cause a white cast, even though they're mineral sunblocks. Throughout the day, be careful to avoid too much sun exposure and use hats and clothing and shade appropriately. And then at the end of the day, you want to use a gentle cleanser in most cases. Sometimes people who are dealing with skin unevenness or pores, you might want to use occasional exfoliation, like every other day, every third day, to try out how that might work out for you. And then after cleansing, you're going to use a retinoid like tretinoin at a very, very small dose. You don't want to overdo it because it can lead to a lot of peeling because it is encouraging a lot of cell turnover. So you want to be gentle with it. And then again, adding on a good moisturizer once again. So this is the very, very basic daily routine that I recommend for almost everybody. And again, everybody's going to be different. On top of that, make sure you are eating a well-balanced diet rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and collagen supporting foods. Make sure you're getting that omega-3 fatty acids, such as from fatty fish, and lots of fruits and vegetables for the antioxidants, nuts for more types of vitamins and healthy fats, and lots of fiber because those are prebiotics that lead to probiotics in your body. And of course, hydrating with plenty of water because that is the key to health for your skin, for your brain, for a lot of other aspects of health. Today, we covered what skin elasticity is, why it's important, lifestyle and supplement strategies you can use to improve it. So from healthy dietary choices to the power of collagen, antioxidants, and other supplements that you can use to help with your skin youthful. We've explored a lot of different ways to keep your skin resilient and youthful. I am going to do a part 2 because I ran out of time in this 1-hour episode to cover all the things that you can do to help with reversing skin aging and boosting that skin elasticity. So there will be a part 2 on advanced interventions for skin elasticity and anti-aging. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me your favorite skin health habits and send me DMs or leave a comment. And don't hesitate to ask me questions if there's anything specific you'd like to learn more about. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Longevity Show. And if you found this episode helpful, join me live on Noon Vibe Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And also hop onto YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I'm Hillary Lynn, MD, on all of these. I would love a subscribe and comment and a share with people you think might benefit from my content that's focused on health and longevity. Thank you. And until next time, keep taking care of your skin and your health.